We don't have any qualification to attain anything worthy of attainment by any other process than the process which was advocated and ordained for the deliverance of the fallen conditioned souls in this Kali Yuga. It's a very simple, logical, reasonable, rational, sensible, philosophical conclusion. We are not fit to perform meditation. Even we are not fit in Kali Yuga to perform Astakali Alila Smaran. It is not within our capacity, practically speaking. We can boast of some, hopes and aspirations to do these things. But according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Ragbart Machandrika, he says that even though Smarana is one of the main angas of Raganuga Sadhan Bhakti, still that cannot be possibly achieved without performing Sankirtan of the holy names of Krishna. There's no possibility to achieve the superlative result or the completion of any other anga of devotional service without coupling it with the Yuga Dharma in this age of Kali, Harinam Sankirtan. Therefore, stress is given by our acharyas about the necessity to engage in the performance of Harinam Sankirtan. So humility means to recognize that as we are Kali Yuga rejects, we are not qualified for any other activities. We're not qualified for karma. We're not qualified for gyan. We're not qualified for yoga. We're not qualified for meditation. We are not qualified for performing big yagyas. Costly, gallons and gallons of ghee. We're not qualified to perform opulent deity worship. What can we offer the deities? Some plastic trinkets. Where's the gold? Where's the diamonds? Where are the rubies? Where are the sapphires? Where's the immense wealth that is actually required for performing opulent deity worship? We are not qualified. None of us are qualified. It doesn't matter, PhD, MA, MBBS, whatever it may be. You are not qualified. You and I, we are not qualified to do any action other than the performance of Sankirtan Jagya. To the extent that you are humble, to that extent you'll realize the need to engage your invaluable human form of life, your time and energy, in the performance of Sankirtan Jagya, and also in the performance of other corollary activities which will help to foster your attachment to the performance of the Yuga Dharma Nam Sankirtan. Therefore, we engage in deity worship, we engage in Bhagavad Shravan, we engage in Prasad Seva, we engage in Mandira Marjan, etc. Because these things also help us. They're meant to help us, but if we're niyamagraha in our approach, then it means we don't know the purpose behind the things which we're doing. We don't know that the purpose of the deity worship is to increase our attachment to the chanting of the holy names. We don't know that the purpose of hearing Bhagavad is to increase our attachment to the chanting of the holy names. We don't know that let's say living in or serving in a nice clean temple, therefore Mandira Marjan. The purpose of the thing is to facilitate our congregational chanting of the holy names of Krishna. The purpose of our management is to facilitate the congregational chanting of the holy names of Krishna. The purpose of our sadhu sangha is to remind each other about the importance of chanting the holy names of Krishna. In Kali Yuga, there is no other dharma than the chanting of the holy name. It is the supreme anga of devotional service. It is the supreme aspect of the principle of Jaiva Dharma. Therefore, humility. Realize that you'll never get taste if you don't do it. You'll only get taste for chanting the holy name by chanting the holy name. There's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way. Kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranyata. Only one way. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. We must take this seriously if we actually want to make progress to the goal of Krishna Prema. So therefore, Trinada Pisunichana. Todor Iva Suhishnana. What does that mean? Tolerance. Tolerance like the tree means standing up against all odds. Whatever it takes for us to get it right. Even if innumerable people criticize us for just being, oh, that's just Harinam. You know, we want that money. You know, we want the book scores. We want the, you know, the big temples. We want to see something practical. You know, which will gratify our pragmatic mindset. Don't be so idealistic. Chanting Hare Krishna will solve all your problems. That's a little simplistic, isn't it? Yes, it's simple for the simple. Simple for the simple. Those who can simply understand what it is that Srila Prabhupada actually came to give us. Everything else is ultimately superfluous if we don't develop an attachment to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. If we develop attachment to the chanting of the holy name of Krishna, and we serve to help everyone else develop that attachment to the chanting of the holy name, then everything else starts to make sense. So, standing up against all odds. Todor Iva Suhishana. Amanena means not desiring to be recognized as having the fitness for anything else than the congregational chanting of the holy name. And Manadena means to respect everyone else in terms of their real self-interest. Their real self-interest is to get prema. And the recommended process for every living entity in this Kali Yuga for getting prema is the congregational chanting of the holy names of Krishna. Therefore, Amanena, Manadena, and then put it to practical reality. Kirtaniya Sadahari. Kirtaniya Sadahari means to always be engaged in performing kirtan of the holy names. Primarily the holy names. Nam, Rup, Guna, and Lila. These things are all there. Within Nam is included Rup, Guna, and Lila. It's almost time for my Super Soul class to be over.
So everyone chant Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
But it's not over yet. I still have a couple of minutes left to wrap it up. So therefore, Yasya Deve Para Bhaktir, Yata Deve Tatha Guru. If one has faith, that kind of faith, in Nam, Kali Kali Nama Rupa Krishna Avatar. When it says Yasya Devi, it means Yasya Nama. Having faith in Nam. And similar faith in the words of Sri Guru, who is representative of the holy name of Krishna. Then, of course, Para Bhakti ultimately means Rag Maya Bhakti. Para Bhakti, there's Apara Bhakti and Para Bhakti. Apara Bhakti means bhakti which is still conditional or contaminated by the influence of the modes of material nature. And then there's Para Bhakti, which is transcendental to the modes of material nature. So for one who has implicit faith in Nama and in Nam Guru, Implicit faith, meaning transcendental faith. Not just faith, but transcendental bhakti. It doesn't say Yasya Devi Para Shraddha. It says Yasya Devi Para Bhakti. Transcendental bhakti. Transcendental, spontaneous, unalloyed devotion. If one has this transcendental, loving devotion to Sri Harinam, Nami, and Sri Gurudev, then what happens? Kasyaite katita hyarta prakashanta mahatmana. That all the imports of the revealed scriptures are automatically revealed from within by the grace of Chaita Guru, the supersoul aspect of Lord Krishna situated within the heart. So, are there any questions?
There's a comment.
Comments?
We'd just like to thank Aindra Prabhu for reminding us the real purpose why we are here. To be attached to the holy name. Without being attached to the holy name, we'll not be able to please the Supreme Lord and His representative, Srila Prabhupada. So big Haribol for Aindra Prabhu and the holy name. That's not loud enough. One more time. Haribol! Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki! Dhanyawad. Any question?
Any question?
Here.
Again, thank you for reminding us of our Supreme Goal, Prabhuji.
Radhe, Radhe.
But as you said, this is the yajna for Kali Yuga. As we know, like you remind us, and again in class we hear this, that this is the Supreme Goal and this is yajna for a Kali Yuga. So, like conditions also, let's say, our restriction or our whatever, we are not able to perform it like 24 hours or whatever. So what should we do? Like at least we should do that time or this much time Harinam. Like we chant our 16 rounds or so called, trying to chant 16 rounds. So other than what we should do practically, like we should do Harinam at least like congregational chanting for how many hours or what, that we should get some taste somehow or other in whatever.
Like I said, we are all very sick because we still have so many anarthas, and the point that I was beginning to raise, which maybe got diverted from slightly, that the anarthas which arise from offenses against the holy name go on all the way up till Vastu Siddhi, when you get your spiritual body in the Leelas of the Lord. And the main difficulty is maintaining material attachments even after understanding so many instructions and not having complete faith in the chanting of the holy name, which is counted as one offense, the 10th offense against the holy name. That is basically the root cause of all of our problems. Because we do have ample opportunity for sadhu sangha. Anyway, at least if you seek, you shall find. But then, what do we do with that sadhu sangha? Sadhu sangha primarily means to hear from the sadhu, or to inquire, and then naturally we'll hear some instructions, and then those instructions, if we don't, free ourselves up from the material attachments, which obstruct our absorption in the chanting of the holy name, which disallow us from actually sufficiently performing the yajna so that we can actually gain the tangible experience of the efficacy of its performance. People who are, let's say, on the ethereal platform or on the mental platform or intellectual platform even, they may understand theoretically by hearing from sadhus that congregational chanting will solve all our problems, both material and spiritual. Material well-being follows spiritual well-being. So the solution to the problem is not a material solution, it's a spiritual solution to engender spiritual well-being. Then all of our material problems will also be solved. But if we don't apply ourselves to the process due to our lack of faith, then it's like catch-22, it's a vicious circle. You don't gain the experience by which your faith is solidified. But by engaging sufficiently, because after all we're very sick, we need a certain regimen. Just like there are certain prohibitions, contradictions, or contraindictions, where there's something that you should not eat, and you should only eat so many times in a day, or maybe you should eat more. It's just like one of our kirtan devotees, Adi Ras Prabhu, he has a disease called hypoglycemia, which means he has low blood sugar. Low blood sugar means that if he doesn't eat more, then his blood sugar goes down. So also we need certain sweetness running through our blood in the form of the Madhurya Nam, relishment of the sweetness of Harinam. So we have to take more. It's just like if you're very sick, if you have pneumonia, for example, and you think that, well, I can go on eating whatever I want, and I don't like this bitter medicine, because of the jaundice-like tongue. I don't like to chant Hare Krishna. I have no taste. It's like bitter. Rock candy becomes bitter. The example is given of a man diseased with jaundice. But the only solution to the problem is not that by taking one antibiotic tablet, every other month, that you're going to get, well from your pneumonia condition. It's not that just by taking one little drop of sugarcane juice and, oh, that's too bitter, I can't tolerate it. So then you're not going to solve the problem by not taking the medicine. Therefore, Vaidhi Bhakti. What is Vaidhi Bhakti? Vaidhi Bhakti means you must rise early in the morning during the Brahma Muhurta hours where you get 1,000 times the benefit of your Nam Bhajan and come to the Mangalarti. There's a conch shell blowing. Conch shell blows. Why? It's to assemble everyone. For what? To do eye exercises with our jelly eyeballs, Google-eyeing the deities? That's what we're coming for? All right, on one level, okay, something's better than nothing. But the real principle is we're coming before the deity so that the deity will see us happily engaged in chanting and dancing, engaging in Nam Sankirtan. The morning program is set up to facilitate everyone's absorption in Sankirtan Jagya, the congregational chanting of the holy name. Therefore, there's need to do more Hare Krishna mantra chanting to facilitate, instead of spending the whole Mangalarti chanting everything else and then maybe 10 or maybe 5 or maybe only 3 Hare Krishna Maha Mantras tagged on at the end, you'll never get a taste for doing Maha Mantra Sankirtan by doing it that way. At least half of the Mangalarti should be spent. If there's 20 minutes or 25 minutes, at least 10 or 15 minutes should be chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And that was Srila Prabhupada's instruction. Not that we carry on and on, with everything else. More time should be spent chanting, and even if it goes over a couple of minutes extra because, we got at least 15 or 20 minutes worth of announcements to announce. We can't chant Hare Krishna for 2 more minutes because we got to follow the rule to make room for our announcement. Anyway, that was an unpaid for political announcement by Aindra Das. But nevertheless, the principle should be well taken. I'm not angry at anyone because sometimes announcements are actually necessary. But chanting Hare Krishna is also very necessary. So therefore, I prefer to advocate that let's spend more time. If we want to save room for the announcements, then chant a little less of the other things so that you have more time to chant Hare Krishna. Then, at least for a few minutes in the morning, when you're getting 1,000 times the benefit during the Brahma Muhurta hour, you're performing Maha Mantra Sankirtan in the association of the devotees. And, after all, Srila Prabhupada's, mercy upon us here in Vrindavan is that there is a 24-hour kirtan where Maha Mantra Sankirtan is going on 24 hours a day. So, make time. Find it within your heart. Give till it hurts. Give the necessary time to do the jagya, take your medicine, and start experiencing what it's like to get well. To get, the sweetness of Harinam instead of the bitterness on account of our disease, jaundice-like condition. Then, problem is solved. Do more Harinam Sankirtan and do more and more japa, as much japa as possible, because after all, japa is the life and soul of Nam Sankirtan. It's the strength of our Nam Sankirtan. It's the basis of our personal purity by which we can hope to perform empowered Nam Sankirtan for the pleasure of our spiritual masters and Krishna. Is that a little useful? Anything else before we wrap it up? Yes, Brajananda Prabhu. Don't forget, Prasadam is starting pretty soon.
For a holy name, you told that we are qualified only for chanting holy name. The meanings behind that is that our qualification for everything is qualification for chanting of holy name.
No, the qualification is to realize that you're not qualified for anything else but. That is the actual qualification. As long as you're thinking that you're qualified for something else, that indicates a lack of humility, a false pride in oneself. And on account of that false pride, one will lack taste for chanting the holy name due to false pride. So therefore, solution is chant more. Realize that we have no other, that there's no other way, there's no other way, there's no other way in this age of Kali. And Krishna will help from within. He'll lift the veil of Yoga Maya and allow you to actually see the true form of the holy name within your heart. Actually, the vast majority of us are so fallen and wretched Kali Yuga rejects that we are not even qualified for chanting the holy name because of that element of false pride. We're so fallen. Therefore, Prabhupada said that he's straining his brain to find other engagements for us. Why? Because we don't have a taste for chanting the holy name. Other engagements. We're so fallen, so unqualified. If we at least had a little understanding and actually took shelter of the process of Nam Bhajan, Nam Sankirtan, then we would gradually start to become more and more qualified. Prabhupada is, I read it myself. Tamal Krishna Maharaj told me about the conversation. Unfortunately, I can't find it on folio anymore, so I don't know what happened to it. But there was a statement, and I personally read it because Tamal showed me the thing. I just can't remember where it was, or else it's been removed or something, or I just can't remember the actual word to punch in to, have the thing surface in the folio. But there was a statement where Srila Prabhupada said that actually our only real business is to sit in the holy dham and chant the holy names of the Lord. But because you have no taste for this, therefore I'm pushing you for so many other engagements like opening temples and restaurants and, so many other engagements. Because we have no taste for sitting in the holy dham and chanting the holy names. We don't have any taste for our real business, our only real business. We have taste for everything else, but we don't have much taste. But actually, although other engagements like Mandira Marjan, cleaning the temple, and performing deity worship, and going out on book distribution, and so many other engaging in life membership program as Prabhupada inaugurated that. All of these engagements, for the purpose of gradually purifying our heart so that eventually we'll have enough spiritual intelligence to realize that we should be chanting more and more in order to actually experience what it's like to taste, in a practical sense, the holy name of Krishna. So, Hare Krishna. This is not fanaticism. It is real pragmatism. It is not fanatical idealism. It is the highest pragmatism.